Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
It looks like we have all kinds of people already joining us. We have Michelle and Denise and Lovey and Autumn. And it looks like we have people from South Carolina, Evansville, Indiana, Georgia. Brittany is from Illinois,
I'm in
Edwardsville.
Illinois, yes.
Yes.
Amber's in
And,
Kentucky.
Mhm.
and I am in Missouri. So we're all over here.
That's
Um,
right.
and I'm really
Evansville is not too far.
from you, Amber.
It's about 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes.
Wait,
We,
what isn't
um,
that far?
Evansville.
Oh, Evansville. I thought you said Edwardsville. I was like, that's where I'm at. I was like, you got to be further away if you're in Kentucky. I don't think that's right. Unless I take the long way to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Well, guys, today I'm like excited. Amber, we met Amber
Yeah.
a little while back, and we just found that we just loved her story, and I feel like so basically, I think when we all go through something that's really life changing, we want to share it with others because we know other people can benefit, and that's I feel like that's the case with Amber. She's just really inspiring. I love watching her on. She has different little formats on Instagram and on TikTok and on Facebook, and she shares her story, basically just that long-term story. And she's an advocate. She has been speaking on other forums as well, and I just want to kind of turn it over to her in a second. For those of you who've not met me and Brittany, if this is your first time joining us, Brittany and I do these live events every single month. We're sponsored by ProCare Health. ProCare Health is our sponsor. They're known to be one of the industry's best vitamins out there because they're third party tested every batch and basically make sure that you get all those good things in your vitamin. We'll be posting their link here in a little bit. We appreciate them for being our sponsor. So just at that, Amber, I'll let you tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Okay. Well, I am super excited to have found you guys. I love ProCare vitamins, and I loved being able to talk to you guys and just talk about my story and how we can work together and just get the word out about ProCare vitamins and how they are specifically made for bariatric patients. I love that you have our best interests in mind, and they have been just wonderful for me. I love that they're a capsule, and I love that they're not anything gritty or that tastes yuck. It just is it's everything I need, and I take the one with the probiotics and iron also. So I love that. But a little backstory on me is I really didn't start gaining weight until after college. More specifically, whenever I went through fertility issues to get pregnant with my son. It took about 3 years. And during that time, it was, very hard to, continue to get the negatives and just to stay positive throughout that process. And so I, kind of lean towards food as my comfort. And, I was taught from a young age that you clear your plate, and I did that.
Yeah.
I did all of the diets and pills and potions and tried so many exercise programs, and I would, lose some of the weight, and then, the old habits kind of creep back in. I had some depression, with that as well. And not that those are excuses, I feel like we do have to hold ourselves accountable, but it just was a tough time, for me. And I did, kind of lean on food for comfort. But luckily, we had a new doctor come to town, and he specialized in bariatric surgery. We didn't have anything like that really around. So, I was talking to my aunt and just expressing, that I'm ready. I need to do something. It is I'm over all the pain and, my body. I was young, just let's say at the time it had been 2018. So, let's see, so 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago. So I was 40 years old, and I was taking medication for high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Was having, some issues. Once I got pregnant, I went into congestive heart failure. So there was just a lot of things that have gone on.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yes, very scary. But I also wanted to set a better example for my son. That was a big driving force for me. And I luckily got into like the first group with my doctor. And we had to go to a seminar with my insurance. I had to do 6 months of the, you did weight checks, and you had to go through and incorporate different, more healthy lifestyle changes and, show proof of all of that. The thing I loved about my doctor is that they had kind of like your kind of binder of like everything you have to do, and you check off everything. You had to have a heart check, lung check, scope. There's a lot of things that you have to do to qualify for the surgery. And I just kind of checked those off each month, and before I knew it, I was qualified and set to have my surgery. I lost 103 pounds, and I also decided to do the excess skin journey, so the plastics after weight loss. And that is super exciting, kind of seeing everything come full circle, which I think you'll see with my picture. I know you said it doesn't really even look like me, but that was me.
Do you want me to pull it up while you're talking,
Sure.
Amber?
Yes.
Yeah, let me share my screen here real quick.
And for anyone who may be new to our channel, I just want to say really quick, if you're interested in learning more about plastics specifically, I'm sure Amber will probably talk about it a little bit, but you haven't really started that journey just yet. So if you guys are looking for someone who has had weight loss surgery and then they had plastics after, we have 2 guests that came on our channel and talked about it. And actually, Jessica, who is Sleeve Brittany Alone, she's come on here and talked about both of her surgeries. So she had her upper body done first, and then she had her legs and her thighs done. So, and then Scotty, who we also had, she had, was it 3 sessions, I think it was, Brenda? Instead of 2?
I think so.
Yeah, so Scotty came on and talked about her experience too. I will find the link for those if you guys want to check those out too on your own time. But I didn't mean to interrupt. I just want to share that real quick because some people might have questions specifically about plastics or skin removal. Oh, Denise actually just said, waiting for approval for skin removal surgery myself. Well, we're pulling for you, Denise.
Yes, it is a...
There's Scotty. Yep, Scotty said 3 sessions.
Yes. So I had the 360 lower body lift done with the thigh lift at the same time, a Mons lift, and a gluteal augmentation. And that was in 2020.
Oh, so you did have it done already?
Yes.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Yeah,
Awesome.
neither.
Great.
Yes, and then I decided to do, in December of 2020, I decided to do the breast augmentation and lift.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did have a rare complication where the breast bottom out, and that just means the implant falls below your natural crease. So I actually just a few weeks ago, trying to think when it was about 4 weeks ago, had the breast revision where they do an internal bra. So I'm currently still healing from that. That was the one that was harder than I expected, because the first one, the original lift and augmentation, was so easy compared to what I went through before, and this one was just a lot more of the internal recovery, just a little more work internally.
So, I don't want to get off topic, but we do have a couple questions. Someone said, any suggestions for how to afford plastic surgery, or how did you save up for that?
So I knew going into the process that I would probably want skin surgery. So I started saving even before I had my VSG.
Nice. Okay.
And then there are several companies which you need to check with your doctor, because the doctor that I went to, he did not accept insurance. So some doctors don't, and you have to do self-pay. So I looked for financing, because there is financing, like Care Credit is one, Alpheon I think is one, but you need to ask your doctor which one they accept, because they don't accept all of them. So those are some options. You can also take out, just a loan yourself, a personal loan. You could do that also.
So,
Or a line of credit.
Amber, too, while you're sharing that, I'm kind of curious too. Does insurance help pay if you have to have like a revision, or is that out of pocket as well? Like if you have a complication related to that?
That was a good question. That's actually what I wanted to ask too.
Well, that actually depends on your doctor. Again, if they accept it or not. My doctor, he does not go through insurance. So, because it was, a complication from the original surgery, I did get a reduction in price. So, I did still have to pay like the anesthesia fees and stuff like that, but it was a reduction, so that was nice.
It
But
looks
if
like we
people
have.
go through insurance companies, then you can get part of it covered. I tried to get the paniculectomy is what some insurances will cover, and that's where they kind of take that excess skin from, the people call their apron or fupa. I've heard some people call it. So that removes that, and then you can just pay the extra to get a full tummy tuck. But through my insurance, I did not qualify for the paniculectomy. So I started looking at other doctors.
Amber, I'm going to go ahead and show these others because we're going to pop you back on screen. So this one here, do you want to say anything about any of these pictures? This one here looks like it's been recent. Like that looks.
Yes, that's one that's more recent. One thing that I've noticed about myself, and I think a lot of people after VSG, you do start to feel more confident. You start to find yourself and find reasons that you come to love yourself more, because we are our own worst critics. And I just feel like I had a very negative attitude towards myself, especially, who I saw in the mirror. And I've learned to, love myself again, to enjoy self-care and break out of my comfort zone. Because when you're overweight, you feel like there's so much that you can't do. And physically, there are things that you can't do. So I have really, really enjoyed going on new adventures, zip lining with my family, which I never would have done before, roller coasters and just fun things, going hiking and going to see a waterfall whenever we went to Gatlinburg, things that I just would not have done, and just eating in general, coming to enjoy things that are healthy. And, it's amazing how our taste buds change over time, and you hear that, but now it's the healthier that I eat, I feel like the more my body craves those healthy things, and not so much the sugar and brownies or cake or cupcakes. And I do eat those, or I might have a bite of someone else's instead of eating 3 and 4. So I don't deprive myself of anything, but I also try to have things in moderation.
Yeah,
and I can't see the questions. I only see the original question. I don't know why.
Well, we have actually, we have some on Facebook too as well. Let me,
Oh,
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I didn't want to interrupt you guys, though.
So on Facebook, Suzanne says, I'm recovering from skin removal. It's not really a question. I think she's just wanting to comment. Another Susan says, my insurance covered my revision due to my complication of my sleeve surgery. So, it's always good to talk to your surgeon and see what can be covered and not covered. And it looks like here, Scotty says some insurances require major documentation of rashes to cover pannulectomy. Denise says, amen to we are our worst critics. And that's so true. And Michelle says, what's the Facebook page? I wonder if she's talking about our ProCare or if she's talking about yours, Amber. I'll post both of those here.
Okay.
So that she has that. And then on our Ask a Question feature, we have someone who said, ProCare. I'll post that here in a second. Amber, it says, my stomach growls and gurgles all the time. Is this normal? My surgery was 2019.
Yes, I replied to her. It happens all the time. It was especially noticeable in my first 2 years. It's got in, it doesn't do it as often. It kind of depends on what you eat or drink. But all the people that I talk to in the support group that I have here, that's normal. It just always seems to make noises, but definitely at first.
Can you girls still hear? I apologize about that. I was trying to post it on Facebook and it made a noise.
That's okay. I didn't even hear anything. Enid asked a question for you too, Brenda.
Somebody said, what's the name of the stomach surgery? And that one is a panniculectomy where they just take kind of that apron. I had done the 360 or a body lift is what some doctors call it, and that's where they go all the way around you. So you get the front body lift and the back body lift. And that is major surgery. And I've told several people try to do it in different sessions instead of trying to get everything in one, because it is overwhelming, just emotionally, physically draining. And talk to someone that's going to be really honest with you, like really get to the good, bad, and the ugly, because I don't feel like I was prepared for what I was going to go through, even though I had talked to some people. I don't know that they were as honest as they needed to be. So
I guess that's a good question too. When you're recovery wise, it sounds like you had quite a bit of surgery at the same time, even though you didn't do your a lot of the upper part. But
right,
how long was recovery?
It was a good 6 weeks of there was the first 3 weeks I could not sit on my bottom because I did have a gluteal augmentation as well, where they take the fat that's kind of what do they call, at the top of your hips. There's a name, I'm not thinking of it right now. And they cut that and they move it down to where it forms your bottom to be full, because I just had a flat bottom. And so I had that done as well, because they said either we throw that away, that fat, or we can mold it into a bottom for you. So that's what I chose.
Good choice.
Yeah.
And one thing that I don't know that very many people are told before plastic surgery is that you cannot expect perfection. And you really need to talk to your doctor about the expectations that you should expect, because I thought it was going to look one way just from talking to my doctor, and it didn't. You're not going to go back to where you looked in your 20s. Your skin is different. You're still going to have cellulite and things like that. There's going to be imperfections even in the skin surgery because of how your skin might heal if you have an open wound, to come open, which I did have. It's just it's a hard road, but you have to kind of think what weighs more do you want the excess skin or the scars, and are you okay with, that the outcome, even if it's not exactly what you want?
Yeah, because I mean, everybody has different results, especially scarring. I'm happy you brought that up. So, I've seen some patients that have had the surgery, especially on their thighs, like in the inner side of their thighs, and some people you can't even tell at all. Like, they did such a great job with hiding the scarring. It's so
Yes.
hard to tell unless you know what you're looking for. You don't even notice it.
Right.
And then there's others where, it's more noticeable. I don't want to say it looks bad because it doesn't, but it's just
Right.
more prominent,
Yes. And my scars, they're more noticeable on my thighs. There's some areas that aren't, and there's still continued healing over time. The scars lighten, and you have to, of course, be careful when you're out in the sun, or it can darken your scars. But they are on the inside of my thighs, so that you don't see them. I mean, even when I'm in shorts, you can see just the part that goes down by my knee. So overall, the scarring has been pretty good.
There's a question here too, and I have a question after this one. Is there a scar cream that helps with scars?
My doctor, he sold like something specific for his practice, and I just went ahead and I used that, and I do not remember the name, but I went recently just to Walmart and picked up it was the silicone roll-on, and I've been trying that. But there's also like silicone strips, and I've heard that those are better than just the creams.
We have another question on Facebook too. I just don't want to miss it.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Scotty said something about silicone on here too.
So Susan said, my insurance covered my revision. I think we already said that. But then she just had a question. Do you have to lose a certain amount of percentage of weight to have the 360 breast reduction and apron removal? So I think she's probably asking, like, does it depend on your BMI? Do you need to lose so much weight in order to be eligible to get the skin removal? And correct me if that's not what you're asking, Susan, but I think that's how I took it.
Okay. Most of the doctors kind of had different requirements, but what I saw kind of consistent is that you're 2 years out was one thing, or around, and still maintaining your healthy weight, so that you're not gaining, because they want you to be at your ideal weight, so that you have lost as much fat as you want to, because if you lose more after you have the surgery, then there's also that's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
So they want you to be at your ideal weight for the best result.
And usually they recommend the same thing for women who want to try and get pregnant after having surgery too. They tell you to try and wait at least a year and a half, or at least until you're so close to your goal weight, because of course, when you get pregnant, the first thing that happens is usually you gain weight. So
Right.
I love the openness and honesty. I'm wondering if your experience was similar to mine. I had a fleur-de-lis 3.5 weeks ago. Of course, there was a lot of discomfort in my abdomen, but for the first week and a half, for the first 1.5 weeks, my back hurt the most from walking stooped over. It's better now, but that was the most severe.
Yes, that was hard. And I walked with a walker, and your back does hurt because you're literally hunched over. And one thing that I had to do, and it helped me, because whenever I went to the doctor the first time and they looked at my stomach, he said, "Oh, you're not, you're stretching your skin too fast." And so there was some issues with discoloration where it wasn't getting the blood supply that it needed. So I actually reversed myself in the bed, and I put my feet against the headboard so that they stayed bent, and that actually helped me. So that could be a secret for somebody that maybe needs to, because when you're in that compression wear, it is hard to bend your legs all the way up, to your chest. And that's what, my doctor recommended just to help. And it did correct itself whenever I did that. So, because I think during the night, my legs just naturally, also didn't scrunch up like that. Like, I just don't sleep like that. So that maybe could help someone else. But yes, your back definitely hurts, and it does get better. One thing that I recommend is to have the shower chair, because showering can wear you out very quickly, and you don't want to, faint while you're in there. Can cause injury. And then I also had what was called a high potty chair, so that you don't have to bend down as far. Because I did have the thigh lift at the same time, so
that was a lot. It looks like there's a couple more comments too for you. Enid said, I have a small pouch in my inner thigh and need a little help. How many surgeons did you see before finalizing your surgeon?
So I went and I saw 3 people and, got their recommendation for, what they thought and what to put together. In my head, I wanted the 360, so I was looking for a surgeon that was well versed in that and had done several, or not several, but lots of practice in that. Looking back, I think I would do that differently. I would have done the tummy tuck, or I would have just broken the front and the back, because it was just very, very traumatic experience. So.
And most surgeons will try and, at least the most surgeons that I've known that done plastics, usually they try to convince you to break it up as much as possible because they know how hard recovery can be sometimes. So,
yes. Well, and I was 2 hours from, because I went to Nashville, so I was 2 hours from my doctor. So, and it's very common. I mean, it's outpatient. I mean, you don't stay, you're in recovery for a little while, and then I did have a pain pump that I came home with. So I was not in a lot of pain initially at all. It was just discomfort and extreme tightness, of course. But he does those, so it's for him, it's regular, but for me, of course, in my experience, was just different. And I know someone else that, have gone through it, and, I've talked to them, and their experience was very different. So everybody is going to have, their own journey and experience, but I just want people to know that it is, it's hard. It's a hard process, and to really think about, if it's worth it. And I definitely am glad that I did it. I would have changed some of the surgeries that I had.
I have a question for you too. How long were you out of work? Like, you're a teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were you out 6 weeks for both? And then also your bariatric surgery, were you out?
Yes. So with my initial bariatric surgery, I backed up my surgery with fall break. So I did my surgery at the beginning of fall break. So I had all that week to recover. And then I just took a week after that. So it was 2 weeks, and I was ready to come back. I was, I told them that I would have to sit in my chair more than normal, but I'm a librarian, and, so I do a lot of reading with the kids. So I do, was able to sit, wasn't in a classroom teaching, the class. So it's a little different. But then with my skin surgery, I made sure to schedule it during summer break. So I did it at the beginning of summer break, and I had time, before I went back. Plenty of time.
That worked out well. Like with
Yeah.
that, before
And then
I
with
worked.
my breast augmentation, I did that over Christmas break. So I just tried to put it with my breaks that I normally have.
Wonderful. There's some more comments. Brittany, do you want to read those, or you want me to? Either in
Sure.
the...
In Crowdcast?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Enid said, let's see here. Denise said, what scar cream? We already talked about that. Scotty said silicone is what my doctor recommended. Enid said, I have a small pouch and my inner thigh need a little help. How many surgeons did you see before finalizing your surgeon?
We talked about that.
Yeah,
Okay,
we got
did.
that
Okay.
one.
I've recently had surgery on my arm and I've been using bio oil and aquaphor for the surgery scar. I think I like the aquaphor better. It has no scent, whereas the bio oil smells like something that I don't like. And then Denise said, thanks, Michelle, because I'm looking at my arms. And then she just said, full disclosure, the surgery, it was not skin reduction. She broke her wrist. I hope that you're healed, though. I know that can be tough sometimes, though, too. Breaking a wrist is not fun. Breaking anything is not fun.
No. My surgeon also recommended Aquaphor after, once I got clearance to put something on there. That was the first thing to put on there. And that's more to help with healing also, and to help kind of smooth out your scars. And I found, like, just kind of massaging the area also, like, once everything is kind of healed up, that also helps with kind of leveling out the scar.
So
Some
the
people
medicines
have
that you're,
massages,
lymphatic
massages.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm
I didn't
wondering.
have anybody here.
I'm wondering, is that prescription? Because she said, yes, I got a coupon for Aquaphor for my dermatologist who is seeing for other reasons. Plus one on
It
That's
the
just
should
over the
be.
counter.
Yeah, you can get it over the counter. I've put it on my
Anywhere that has a
tattoos.
pharmacy
Yeah.
In Walmart, we have those. Target has it.
And like a little bottle will last you a long time too, because a
Yes.
little goes a long way. You don't need a whole lot, because it's kind of, I don't want to say it's more greasy, but it's like a thicker consistency too.
Yes, and it did like leave grease stains on my clothes, so I
Yeah, be careful with that.
clothes. Or gauze, put gauze over it. But once you get past the, needing the gauze, I just kind of tried to wear a lot of the same things and wash them so that I didn't ruin a lot of things.
I'm just wondering, could you use it on bariatric surgery scars too? Or would it just be mainly, you think, for...
When you have the bariatric surgery, it's laparoscopic, so your scars are very tiny. But you could. I know with, I think that they said like polysporin on those.
On those. Somebody just commented too, Aquaphor does suggest that you cover the area and use it overnight. So like wearing gauze wrap or socks or gloves, probably to kind of protect the area. Yeah. I'm looking here to see. So Amber, one thing I think you talked a little bit about, but I wanted to kind of get a little bit more into lifestyle too, because like how is your normal days now, especially like if you're working outside the home and with your family and stuff, what have you noticed differently with both of those procedures?
Well, my family is eating healthier, so that's that's one thing. It's gone beyond me, and it's made kind of impacted the whole family, which is great because when you have supportive family, I think some people are still trying to cook other foods for their family, and not that you can't, because my son, he's a picky eater, and sometimes he's going to have something different. But it is easier whenever your family kind of does that with you and shows
agree.
you that support.
Yes,
and plus
I
just
definitely agree.
Plus not having some of the things like that might trigger you in the home. I found that to be a huge help. There's just certain things, and I go through phases. Like one thing was golden Oreos, and I was like, I'm having trouble stopping. So I was like, can we not get some, golden Oreos? But I've gone through different things. But I found, like I said, not having some of those in the home helps. And I also, in our pantry, we have kind of like my son's container and then my container and for my spouse, just so I go to mine and I don't have to even look in theirs. So
out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yeah, that's been a big help too. But there's
so
just little
true.
changes along the way that you don't think of, like putting your fork down between bites.
Yeah.
And just kind of letting that food, giving your food time to hit your stomach, and so that you realize, because all my life, even whenever I was more active, I never really felt full.
Yeah.
So once your stomach is, if you do the VSG, your stomach is about 80% smaller, you get full really fast. And learning to, I had to unlearn cleaning my plate, because even though if I had small servings, it was hard to unlearn years and years of that. So having a smaller plate has helped me, a kid plate. And at first I used baby spoons to take bites, to have smaller bites of, you go through the pureed and the soft foods, and, slowly introduce those things. And, it may sound silly, but that helped. Just having, that tiny utensil. Also, you fill up that tiny utensil, and it looks like a big bite on there, but if you had a regular spoon or fork, it would feel so different. And then really chewing your food, because sometimes, I'll see my son eating, I'm like, make sure, chew, don't just swallow everything whole. So, that helps. Not drinking while you're eating. They tell us about 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after. And there was a really cool YouTube on that that you can look up, I'm sure. But they had a strainer, and they put applesauce in it, and, it drained very slowly. But if you put water or fluid over that, it drains through much more quickly. So just kind of as a visual to see what that liquid can do, it makes that pass through your stomach, and you want it to stay there so that you get that full filling.
And to be honest with you, all of these things that you said, they're great to share, but in a way, it's almost, in my opinion, it's almost something that everyone, I think, needs to learn, whether you've had bariatric surgery or not. If you're someone who's struggled with weight, especially most of your life, picking up these habits like this can really help too. Like keeping in mind, I don't have to clear my plate every time I eat. You saying that really resounded with me, because I grew up from a divorced family. My dad had full custody of me and my brother. We were raised a lot by my grandparents, and that generation was, you don't leave the table until your plate has been cleared. And so it's kind of been instilled in my brain, and even now I go out to dinner at these restaurants, and they bring out these huge plates that no one should be eating that in one sitting. It's like 3 or 4 meals sometimes, and I once again, I have not even had surgery, so my 80% of my stomach is still there. So it's interesting that you brought that up, and I'm so happy that you talked about that, because I think that we all forget that obesity is a disease, and we can all do our part to try and just be better about things, and it's not only is it a disease, but it's a chronic disease. I think we all forget about that too. Just because you've had the surgery doesn't mean that you don't struggle with obesity anymore either. So I just wanted to mention that in case anyone in here is pre-op too and thinking about getting bariatric surgery. Just kind of think about the mental changes that you're going to have to implement in order to do the surgery. It's not all just physical as well.
No, it is a lot of mental work. It's a lot of your mindset. Because if you go into it thinking I'm going to fail, it's going to be hard to be successful. You have to really think about, those changes, and if you're willing to do that for the rest of your life. A lot of people, say that it's the easy way out, having surgery, and there's nothing easy about it. And if unless you, go through it yourself, you don't know, or someone you love, that has, and you see the struggles, that they go through every day. But mindset, again, is very integral, I think, to being successful.
And another thing I wanted to just add to everything that you said, I just thought about this too, because Lovey said, that's an excellent point. I don't enjoy going out to eat anymore because I see people shoveling food in their mouth, barely chewing. It makes me sick to see. So to me, Lovey, that means that they're not putting any intention or thought into what they're eating and putting into their mouth. They're just trying to get through their meal as quickly as possible. And that's something else that we just talked about. You know, you want to take at least 20 to 30 good chews in each bite, and you're taking your time to sit down and enjoy your meal. And even if that means, you know, turning the TV off and not sitting in front of your TV and eating, then do it, because then you're going to become more intentional of not only what you're putting in your body, but how you're eating it though too.
Right.
I think,
and I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah,
so I don't want to call
say.
anybody out. My husband and I because we don't have kids, almost every night we're sitting at our coffee table eating dinner, watching one of our shows. So I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah. And I think too, whenever you have surgery, it makes you just more aware, because like I never noticed what Lovey said before, and what you said also, Amber, about, you know, like portion size or any of that. I guess I just never realized it. But then whenever you have to be more intentional about what you're eating. You look around and you see all these people doing it, like eating fast or eating way too much. And I'm like, okay, that was me. Like I had to almost call myself out, because I was just like I knew, like it's almost like it's a mirror thing. Like you can see your own behaviors in that. And I mean, I still, even to this day, maybe that's why it bothers us so bad, is because we know we want to try to help them too, I guess. You know, it's kind of like there is a comment on Facebook that I want to, it's kind of been on there for just a minute, so I want to just mention. It says, how do you handle sugar cravings?
That's an excellent question, because you said that you had issues with sugars, right?
Yes, and I find them, like, if you allow yourself to have them, the harder it is, because once you kind of reintroduce that sugary item into your body, I feel like it craves it. But ProCare has this delicious calcium bar that I love, and it is dark chocolate. And I would not eat dark chocolate. I thought it was gross, and now I love dark chocolate. And I have their little calcium bar, and that is my little sweet treat that I get to have, and I'm getting in my calcium. Sometimes even the chews, like you have different the calcium chews. Yes.
Yep.
And there's like the cinnamon roll and different things, and so you're getting in what you're getting that sweet sensation and taste in your mouth. But yes, I do allow myself. One thing with my spouse is I asked her ever since the beginning of process is, can I have a bite of that? And I try to just take a bite of what is already there, instead of getting my own, because I'm not going to be able to finish it. So just taking bites, of sharing something with my son, or whatever, that has been thing that has helped me, because I'm not depriving myself of enjoying that bite and enjoy it. Like, don't just put it in your mouth, and like really savor that bite, and that has helped me a lot.
Even the calcium chews, they're not very big, and I tell patients all the time, savor it if you can, because like, here, I'll show you guys how big they are if you've never tried them. They're not, it's like the size of a Starburst, basically.
Yes.
So this,
they're so good.
Yeah, you can get like 3-4 bites out of it and still really savor it.
Yes.
We have a quick question. How bad is raw fruit for sugar cravings? So we've talked about this before in our support groups, and I'm going to give my answer, and Brenda, you can give yours, and Amber, you can, yeah. Honestly, it's more so the skins of the fruit that really is not very, it's harder to digest, especially right after surgery. And I know that, depending on different fruits and smoothies and stuff that you make, some of them still have a high sugar content. In my personal opinion, if it's one or the other and it's a black and white choice, let's say is is a cup full of strawberries better for me than this piece of chocolate cake, then yeah, absolutely. But also, you also just keep in touch with your dietitian, because it's going to depend on what stage you're at of your weight loss journey. Of course, if you're post-op, there's different stages of your diet that you have to kind of make changes to. And I think you kind of went into that a little bit, the pureed stage, the liquid stage. So just kind of keep that in mind. But I'll let Brenda and Amber chime in on that too.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm reading one of the comments here too. It says, "LOL, I use the calcium chews for a sweet treat. Love the caramel, dinner mint, and chocolate." Just like you said. And it looks like Enid said the mocktails remind me of Starburst. So she kind of said what you said, Brittany. For
the strawberry
me,
one for sure too.
Yeah, yeah. I guess, I mean, as far as fruit goes, to me, I don't like thinking about anything being totally off limits. Obviously, early in the game, like early right after surgery, sometimes you have to wait a little while to be able to eat certain kinds of foods, and fruit is sometimes one of those, because usually it's, for some people, even 5 to 6 weeks or 8 weeks, depending on your surgeon. But what I will say is that it all just comes with how you, like, being intentional and like really planning what you want, because that's what it's all about. Like, if you want fruit, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, just planning it into your meal. And if make sure you're getting enough protein in to help balance out your blood sugars. It may not spike your blood sugar as quickly as some other types of sugar, kind of like you said, the chocolate cake. So I guess it's just kind of like how your body reacts to sugars, and then kind of planning that in alongside your protein to kind of stabilize it out. But to me, I think fresh fruit is, I mean, it's nature. It's something that is made from the earth, and so it's not processed. And so to me, that's a good thing. Amber, did you want to share?
Really just what my doctor and dietitian, you focus on that protein first, and then, getting in your veggies and then your fruit. So that's kind of, what I did in at first. It's really focusing on that protein, because that's going to help your body heal if you've had, the bariatric surgery, and during your plastics. Any of those, protein, I mean, it gave me such a boost in my mood and in my energy and everything. So that really, was what I focused on, and then getting in, the veggies and fruit.
And actually focusing on protein is a really good way to also curb those sugar cravings that we were talking about, because the more protein you eat, the idea is that you're going to stay full longer as well. So you won't be eating as many meals throughout the day. That's the idea, but
right.
Did we have another question? I thought we had another one, but maybe not.
I don't see. But
no, we got that already.
I think we're kind of getting towards the end. What I want to do is I want to share Amber's contact information. And at the bottom, if you're on Crowdcast, I have posted the link for Amber's. If you click onto the little green button and Amber's discount code, and then it'll have the link for our for her specific web page to be able to use her discount code and get 10% off. She is an affiliate, so yay. I'm gonna copy and paste it here in both places, here in Facebook both, so that people have it in both places again. And I just also want to share, I'm going to share my screen, and hold on one second before I do that. I'm going to actually post it on the Facebook. Oops. Sorry, guys.
No, that's okay. And actually, while you're doing that, I'm going to post the links on Facebook to the other events that I talked about with Jessica and Scotty. So if you're interested in learning about more about plastics in general, you can feel free to look at those events, because they go into their journey as well. Just got to find the link now.
Yeah. Okay, and while Brittany's doing that, I'm going to share my screen so that I can share Amber's Instagram page. So we're going to go up here. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. It's
The yellow shirt.
AJS4ever.vsg. And what does that stand for, Amber?
The AJ's Forever is just for me and my spouse. Her name starts with a J. And then, of course, Forever.
Forever. Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Now you also have, it says you're a co-host, creator and co-host of Not Your Basic Bariatric Talk. Is that, you want to talk about that for a second?
Sure. So, I was so blessed to be on our Sleep Life podcast and meet Melanie and Kelly on there. And they just inspired me to try to get more information out into the bariatric community. And I think that sharing our story and allowing other people to share their stories, it creates an amazing community. And the bariatric community has been so good to me and helped me along. I know you guys offer support groups, and it's kind of like another extension of a support group. And you find people that have gone through the same things as you, people that are looking forward to like the skin part of that, the plastics journey afterwards, and just being able for someone else to kind of understand and ask questions and kind of coach, along the way too. It's just been a neat opportunity, and so it's just another way to create community within our community.
Well, I think support is probably one of the biggest things. I love this picture. I'm looking at your Facebook page now too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
I think support is just a wonderful, wonderful. It's just a wonderful way to be able to connect with each other. And also, I want to. So this is Amber. Her Facebook page is just her name, Amber Thompson. And then if we click over, she's also on TikTok. So I wanted to kind of show that. Got all kinds of fun things there. All kinds of videos and all kinds of fun stuff. So I just wanted to kind of just also point them in that direction as well. Are you guys still seeing my screen? Because I don't. Oh,
yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stop sharing there. So just wanted to kind of share that, and then I think support is where it's at, because like you find your community, like you're talking about Mel and Kelly, we love them too as well.
Yes.
They're just fun, and they're so real, like they're just themselves, they're authentic about who they are. So we love that. We've started doing something new with ProCare. And at the end of these sessions, we try to look at something going on in people's lives. And Brittany, do you want me to share my screen and you talk, or do you want to?
Yeah.
I have. So we've kind of come up with these problem solution kind of statements. And the first one here, I'm gonna click on to here is. At least 50% of Americans suffer from some kind of deficiencies. Before we kind of read this question, let me ask you, Amber, did you have any problems with your vitamin levels after surgery?
I have not had a lot of issues. I know some people do. They might have low iron or, other things. I've been blessed that my blood work has come back very well. I did start with patches, and I ended up getting skin, it irritated my skin. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was so glad to have found you guys, and I just know that it's quality vitamins, and my blood work has been excellent using ProCare vitamins.
That's what we like to hear, right, Brenda?
Yeah, we do. Honestly, it makes my day, because when you know that whatever you're contributing to is helping other people, it's what kind of makes me tick.
Yes.
So I'll let Brittany talk, because I'm going to allow her to be a part of this piece.
Sure. So, especially, so here it says I'm deficient and wanting to add specifically magnesium, zinc, and vitamin D3. So one thing that some people might not know about ProCare Health is that we actually have the highest dosage of magnesium that's in a bariatric multivitamin. And that's good for just a few reasons, but one of the reasons being you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So if you're taking our once daily multivitamin, then you shouldn't need to take an additional supplement such as magnesium. I mean, everyone's different, so of course I don't want to say that, but stay on top of your blood work, and of course you'll stay on top of any deficiencies. And I guarantee you we'll have a product that'll help you guys. So, but magnesium specifically really helps with a lot of different functions in the body. It can help with immunity support. It can help with, right on cue. Thanks, Brenda.
Yes.
Can help with immunity support. It can help you sleep better. There's some studies that show that it can help you have a better metabolism, which in turn will help you lose weight better. But honestly, I think it's just one of those things where if it's helping you sleep better, it's helping you have a better supported immune system, then everything else is just going to help too. It's kind of like a domino effect, right? One thing kind of tips off the scale everywhere else. So specifically, we do have a MAG-D immunity support that you can take alongside of our other bariatric supplements. But our probiotic and our prenatal, they each serving or each dose has 200 milligrams of magnesium in it already. So if you're on our probiotic or prenatal, then you should be getting a pretty healthy dose of the magnesium that you need. However, if you were to need more, you can always supplement with our MAG-D blend, and this is great for immunity support. You can ask Brenda. Unfortunately, we were out and I ended up getting COVID, and I had this with me, and I was popping these like they were candy.
I'll stop sharing my screen here.
So I take this with me now when I travel everywhere because it really does help. And even if you do a lot of traveling like I do and you're in and out of airports and clinics and you're just everywhere, it really does help you have a healthier immune system. So,
and Brittany, I'm going to show them where that is on the site.
On the website,
so you guys,
yeah.
Yes. Follow Amber's link to get you there because that will give you your 10% off. But I'm going to show you, it'll look exactly like this when you click on the link. And if you go right here to products and you go to vitamins and minerals down here, it is, let's see, here it is right here. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so if I click on MAG-D, and it is only $14.39 if you do the subscription. Without the subscription, it's $15.99. And I'm going to kind of pull up this. You can see it has 30 milligrams in one capsule of vitamin C, 5,000 IU of vitamin D3, 100 milligrams calcium, 200 milligrams magnesium, 10 milligrams zinc, and 1 milligram of copper. And then this quercetin, I'm sorry, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, 50 milligrams. So, kind of click on that. Brittany, anything you wanted to add to that?
I'm just over here talking to myself, and I'm like, why is no one... I'm muted. I had to type, so I didn't want you guys to hear me. But, yeah, so it's actually pronounced quercetin, and if for anyone wondering what that is, it's a really powerful antioxidant. It's just another ingredient that is really going to help with that immunity support that we were talking about earlier. And 200 milligrams of magnesium, that is a good amount of magnesium. And like I said, that is what you can find in our prenatal and our probiotic formula as well, is that same dosage, is 200 milligrams. Michelle said the Probiotic Multi is my fave. I think that's what Amber is taking.
Yes. I love it.
So that one is twice daily. I do want to make sure that if we have anyone new on here, our probiotic and our prenatal, those are actually 2 capsules a day instead of our original formula The capsule and chewable is once daily.
That's the probiotic. And then there's the prenatal formula that she was talking about. The probiotic is 2 a day. The prenatal is 2 a day. And then our capsule formula and our chewable formula is just 1 a day on those.
And then our new bariatric multivitamins chewies at the bottom there, the soft chews. So it's not a gummy, it's a soft chew. Depending on what surgery you had, we would recommend taking 2 to 4 of those a day. Those also include iron as well. But that is super nice for anyone that's trying to switch up their vitamin routine and maybe you're bored with taking the same old vitamin every day, because each pack comes in a variety of flavors. So every time you buy that bottle, you get 3 different flavors in there. So potentially you could have something different every day.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing that. Or actually, I'll go back up here too. I'm just gonna mention when you guys get to the ProCare Health site, if you are on Facebook and you're wondering how to get to Crowdcast, if you click under this About Us support group handouts, right here, there is a link for our Crowdcast channel, and you can actually join there. We have lots and lots on replay, probably over 80 different sessions now on replays. And this one will be on replay too. If you didn't get to stay for the whole one, if you missed part of it, feel free to click on there and check it out. So I think we got everything.
Well, thank you guys so much. I love any opportunity to get to talk to you all. It's always fun.
Well, and we enjoyed it too, Amber. I hope we get to see you here soon again. I mean, it's just been great getting to meet you and getting to learn more about your life and everything else that's going on. We really appreciate you sharing, because I know some of this stuff is kind of hard to talk about. I mean, I really appreciate your willingness to share such. I mean, having weight loss surgery is one thing, but also having plastic surgery is another too as well. And being open enough to share it with people you don't even know, we do appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. I enjoy, just being able to share my story and hoping that maybe it would help someone else.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And I'm going to be sending you an email after we get done here. And we just want to say thank you. And thank you to all of you who are here with us on either Facebook or on Crowdcast. We appreciate all of you. Thank you so much, and have a good day. Try to stay a little bit cool if you're in anywhere that's hot. A lot of places are very hot right now.
Here.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, you guys take care. Love you all. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Amber. Bye. Hopefully we see you in person soon.
Yes.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.